Yes, in here. Geopolitical spaces. Politics is governments. Okay? Laws of God. Laws of science. Okay? And laws of science. Okay? Now, what does that mean? Well, many people don't understand. So, let's go with the geometry or metrics or matrix, okay, or matrices of mathematics. Okay, now, so then you think see symmetry. Okay, I would say symmetry, we think of geology, okay, or the ecological, okay, see the ecosystem, and the logical logistics. Okay, now you start figuring that out, right? And then they made planes, because they wanted symmetry, but they didn't understand the rest of the engine. Okay, so today I want to give you a little more on flight and why some of those scientists have no fucking clue what they're talking about, and they didn't like the little second grader, namely me, outdoing them with a story about a parachute. So I'll tell you why. Here's the ocean and the water. Curious George and his little sailboat. Okay, now I wonder, you sail, as you're sailing along, the wind curve around the outside, speed up. It creates a flow as it moves in, see? And the wind behind stops and compresses, means a heavier space, to move it forward. Okay? Now, I lied. No one taught me how to sail. I knew how to sail naturally. Just common sense to me. So, pretend this is the air, okay? And this is the ocean. And this is the dry land, like a naval aircraft carrier. And then you have your planes, right? So, we fly up into the air, okay? Now, say a passenger plane or a personal cargo jet, okay? They give you a little flex up on the wings. Sometimes I'm put the sound out, right? Still, see? But, I come back a little bit like this, okay? Now you'll notice, when you get here, the cockpit and the nose, whether it be pointed down or up, doesn't really matter. Okay, they have this slit, okay, before the back take sweep of the wing, because they want the air to go up to clear space for the lift, and they want the compression to happen after the lift. That way it doesn't cancel out. So you'll get a little natural engine from the air pushing up on the craft. So then you have this, back here. And of course maybe your engine. We'll get into that stuff later. But you sweep back. See the curve, flat. So they figure more dense, right? And the problem is there's nothing pushing up on the aircraft. So they have to have the slight tilt up to get a collision here. Okay, science book when I was a kid say air travels slower under the wing, faster over the top, create lift. And I'm like, no. Particles smash together, thicker, and spread apart, thinner. So like weather system moving pushes the aircraft up in the air. Well, in second grade, I'm not supposed to know that stuff. So anyways, we say okay. And then we look at it and we say, well, they had the sweep back of the nose after the arch here, because it thins out the air here, and it creates a suction down to get back here and feed the engine, and it creates heat and spread back here. But the problem is, the sweep back on the wing, you eat a lot of fuel, because it's pushing here, which pushes the plane backwards a little bit while your higher altitudes fail. Okay, and then what happened is move over fast, moving, okay, create the lift. But the sweep back on the wing, they figure, since it's moving fast, it will sweep back on the wing, it'll go out here and it'll collide with the thicker air out here to recompress it and send it back into the hollow open space. Okay, and the problem with that is you're moving forward. It's a jet. Okay, you're moving forward as a jet, and the hollow space is here. Okay, and when you sweep back here, the hollow space is here, and you move forward and you've created another hollow space. So you're just filling in the stuff that you've already passed by. Okay, now to prove that, we had the space shuttle, big old space shuttle. See, big space shuttle. All right, and as it was moving up through the atmosphere, okay, big space shuttle, now because the space shuttle is moving so fast, okay, the thicker air is coming up, as it's passing by and coming up. Okay, so what they did is they cut back on the throttle, and as soon as they cut back on the throttle, it proved their theory here was right. Okay, but it was back here behind the jet. So when they cut back on the throttle, the thicker air caught up and shoved the fire all the way up into the rocket engines and blew the shuttle up. Okay, so that's what happened with that. Nobody want to say that, but that's what happened with that. Okay, now you look at this. Now this is on a flat plane, okay, as you're flying up, but the atmosphere is curved. Okay, a lot of people say, if you could throw a rock fast enough, it'll fly. See? But a plane, okay, this wing, okay, and then you got your sweep on your nose, and then some even had a little sweep back like this. Okay, and it was kind of like if the air goes here and pushes down, right, then plus you get the tilt back on the wing, then you get a thicker wave underneath here, right? And now the problem with that was you get way up in the altitude, okay, then you got this, see, so you want to roll back or forward. And when this goes down, you see, now you rotate, see, now this is riding on the curve, okay, and it can't keep up with the speed, but it's not the speed of the air and the molecules around. It's the collision here that pushes us back. So they figure, you know, hey, it's gonna give me some push up, keep the nose up, okay? And you get little rocket boosters back here. The problem is, this ends up working like air brakes. See? And then, see? But you know, the engineers, they either over-engineer or they under-engineer. And never take into account see, here's an engineer, and he's got his little spectacles on, okay? And he's got his little ears here. And over here, you know, he got a big nose, okay? And over here, they had this wind tunnel. They put the little rocket engines in here, okay? And then they build a plane and they get a bigger wind tunnel, okay? And then they put the whole plane in there, man. They strap it down and they got the wind tunnel, right? But you got the reflections off of the wind tunnel, see? Bad readings. So then you say the reason they had tunnel vision, okay, is because you tell them once and they didn't listen. So it went in one ear and out the other, okay? And then they thought they were cool guys. So the people didn't know, you know, they put him asleep, so maybe we'll figure out when he wakes up, huh? So he says, well, you see that real cool guy they call Cool Joe? He's like, well, you know, he didn't need all that PhD stuff. He just said, check out my dark sunglasses mount and my Amazon friends, you know? See? And I'm really like, pretty cool, huh? And then we'll go, you know, if you had the proper stuff, okay? And you know, it's like you got to start with proper education. Physical education is like physics. And if you want to dream of bigger things, you have to have the psychological education. That is the triple E, you know, education, enlightenment, enjoyment. People, places, protection is tourism, training, and travel. Now, if people doubt my faith, there you go. There's your big cross, okay? Big cross. There's your little cross and your other little cross. And if you have any more ideas about your pyramid schemes, then I tell you what, buy you a rocket and don't build a damn thing. Or start being nice to your geniuses and maybe we'll tell you how to build stuff. And you say, you need a Federal Communications Commission, then start with true wisdom. Okay? And that is because we didn't buy rockets. We talked to God. Okay? We talked to God. You see it on your money every day. We left those pyramid temple crazy people behind for the all-seeing eye we call the eagle eye. Okay? And if you need a reminder, go to a real church. Okay? You need a steeple. Look at the cross on top of a real church. And if you need directions, look at the wind. Okay? It'll tell you which direction to go. You got a north. You got a east. Okay? You got a south. You got a east. And you got a west. And the west and east means we all together. Okay? And there is a north and a south part of the American continent. Okay? And we call that United States. Okay? in the north, okay? The entire northern continent. And we'll call it of America for the south, for the southern part of the continent. The whole continent.